challenge you face today makes you stronger tomorrow. The challenge of life is intended to make you better, not bitter. A tele-reminder from Teleradyo Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malulenyo.
Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kaakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.
Welcome back, Delpilarians, especially to our amazing grade 7 students. Wishing you good health and worry-free environment in spite of the pandemic. Once again, I am your teacher plantita broadcaster, Miss Mona Lisa E. Paredes from TLE Department of Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. Join me as we learn another interesting topic in agriculture. So stay tuned. We're on the spot only here at Teleradyo Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malulenyo. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button at our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And of course, participate in all discussion by simply typing your name and section at the chat box below. So, let's start the day with some interesting facts about farming. Number 1. What is the smallest seed on earth according to Jesus? Letter A, tomato seed. Letter B, mustard seed. Or letter C, orchid seed. Let us check if your answer is correct, Delpilarians. The correct answer is letter B, mustard seed. In Matthew verse 13, chapter 31 to 32, Jesus said that the mustard seed was the smaller than all other seeds, but that when it was full grown, it would be large enough for birds to nest in its branches. And it's absolutely true that the black mustard seed or the Brassica nigra or the Sinapis nigra was the smallest seed ever sown by the first century farmer in that part of the world. Today, we know that there are seeds even smaller than the mustard seed. For instance, the orchid seed is so small and fine that it's almost dust-like. Number 2, what is an alley crop? Letter A, crops that are grown on your bark alley. Letter B, crops planted between rows. Or letter C, crops that are native. Let us check if your answer is correct, Delpilarians. The correct answer is letter B, crops planted between rows. Alley cropping is defined as the planting of rows of trees and or shrubs to create alleys, within which agricultural or horticultural crops are produced. So therefore, the correct answer is letter B, crops planted between alley. Number 3, what is the first animal being domesticated by man? Letter A, dog. Letter B, goat. Or letter C, cat. Let us check if your answer is correct, Delphilarians. The correct answer is letter B, goat. According to many historians, goats were the first animal to be domesticated, and goats are typically the cleanest of animals. They are much more select feeders than cows, chickens, or even dogs. They typically will not eat food that has been contaminated or that has been on the floor or ground. Number 4, what is the first agricultural tool? Letter A, sickle. Letter B, spade. Or letter C, plow. Let us check your answer if it's true. The correct answer is letter C, plow. The plow has been cited as the first agricultural tool invented by the early people on Earth. Plows were invented in the Middle East soon after agriculture began. The earliest plow, called an ard, was probably made from sharpened tree branches. Last, number 5. What is the first crop grown by human in history? Letter A, wheat. Letter B, corn. Or letter C, barley. Let's check if your answer is correct. The correct answer is letter A, wheat. This crop originated from the Middle East and has been cultivated for thousands of years. Wheat is the most harvested crop in the world. This crop grows between 2 to 4 feet tall. However, some varieties can grow as tall as 7 feet. Eventually, the Egyptians discovered that they could do something very special with wheat. Between 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, they became the first people to build ovens and bake loaves of bread. I think we should start now with our lesson, which is farm inputs. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to know the different types of farm inputs and their importance to agriculture. But before we totally begin, let me differentiate calculation from estimation, as these are part of my lesson. Calculation and estimation perform a very important role in agriculture. Let us define what is the meaning of it. Calculation, a deliberate process that transforms one or more inputs into one or more results, while estimation, finding a number that is close enough to the right answer. We will study how to analyze or plan through the use of basic math, multiplication, division, and subtraction. That is calculation. While in estimation, nananansya lang tayo. We are not trying to get the exact and right answer. What we want is something that is good enough. In gardening or farming, lalo na if malakihan, it is very important to budget. Ano ba yung iba-budget natin? Of course, yung pera or puhunan natin sa pagtatanim. Mula sa seeds, pag-prepare lang mga land na pagtataniman, plant care, hanggang sa pag-aani. Lahat ng iyan, kailangan nating maglabas ng pera bilang namumuhunan. So, kailangan na masusing pagbabudget sa iyong puhunan. Tama ba, Del Pilarians? Lalo pa nga ito ay inutang mo lamang, maaring sa bangko o sa tao, or galing ito sa dati mong pinagtrabahuhan. Dapat masiguro nating walang susobra at wala ding kulang. Sa lahat ng business, alam nyo ba, Del Pilarians, kailangan ng cash to operate. Kasi without cash, hindi tatakbo ang iyong business. Let's say, ang business mo ay farm ng mga gulay or prutas. Dahil malaki ang farm mo, kailangan mo ng tao na makakatulong sa pagtatanim. Mga makinarya ang gagamitin sa pagbungkal ng lupa, pagdidilig, pag-spray ng mga insecticide, paglalagay ng mga abono, pagdadamo, at pag-aani. Gagawa ka ng isang budget plan na nakaayon sa laki ng lupang pagtataniman. Magkano ang iyong binhi? Magkano ang mga fertilizer at insecticide na gagamitin? Magkano ang renta sa mga makinang gagamitin sa pagbungkal ng lupa? Pagtanim ng mga punla, pag-aalaga at pag-aani ng tanim, at ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat, upa mo sa mga tao o yung tinatawag na labor. Lahat ng iyan ay ating tatalakayin sa ating paksa, which is farm inputs. Handa na ba kayo? Farm inputs. The resources that are used in farm production, such as chemicals, equipment, feed, seed, and energy. Ito yung mga bagay na ginagamit natin to put up a garden para maging successful ang ating paghahalaman. Examples: seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. Of course, gagamit tayo ng magandang klase ng seeds para mas maganda ang bunga o mga bulaklak. Mag-a-apply tayo ng organiko or chemical na mga pataba para lumago at dumami ang iyong ani. Tama? Gagamit ka ng mga makinarya sa pagtatanim at pagsasaka. At kakailanganin mo din ng mga taong makakatulong mo mula sa pagbubungkal ng lupa hanggang sa pag-aani. At ang lahat ng iyan ay tinatawag na farm input, Del Pilarians. The first on the list is the seed. Seed is an embryonic plant enclose a protective outer covering. Seeds are the foundation of agriculture. Seeds quality plays an important role in the production of agronomic and horticultural crops by producing superior crops. Characteristics such as trueness to variety, germination, purity, vigor, and appearance are important to farmers planting crops and to homeowners establishing lawns and gardens. Seeds come in many sizes and shapes. They range in size from the micro-miniature orchid seed, as small as a particle of a dust, to the gargantuan double coconut seed, over 1 foot long and weighing many pounds. Shapes vary from simple, round tobacco seed to complex, aerodynamic, wing maple seed. Some seeds are hairy, such as the cotton or thistle. Others, like grass, have long spikes. Some have thorns. Next is the germination. Germination is the fundamental process by which different plant species grow from a single seed into a plant. The process of germination is as follows. Number 1, environmental conditions are favorable. For germination to occur, the environmental conditions must be favorable in order to support the growing plant. The soil depth, amount of water, and the temperature are all critical conditions that must be met in order for the process of germination to be initiated. Typically, the soil condition must be moist and warm. Number 2, water imbibition. When environmental conditions are optional, germination is initiated by a process termed water imbibition. The seed absorbs water through the structure called a microphyll, which includes swelling of the seed until it splits open. Next, number 3, is the root and shoot formation. Once the seed has ruptured, the radicle or the primary root and plumule can emerge from the seed. This process is initiated by specific enzymes that become activated when the seed is exposed to water. The roots grow downwards, and the shoot grows upwards towards the soil surface. Number 4, a seedling is formed. Once the shoot emerges from the soil surface, the cotyledons become fully unfolded and expand, eventually forming the first leaf. Once this occurs, the plant is ready to initiate photosynthesis and is considered a seedling. Next in line is the fertilizer. Is any material of natural or synthetic origin that is applied to soil or to plant tissues to supply plant nutrients. Without fertilizer, your plant will not grow healthy. Maaring lumaki siya, pero hindi siya mas malaki kumpara dun sa lalagyan natin ng fertilizer. Hindi siya magbubunga kasing ganda kumpara kung lalagyan mo siya ng fertilizer o hindi siya mamumulaklak ng maganda. So, kailangan talaga ng fertilizer. We have different types of fertilizer, Delphilarians. We have the organic and we have the organic and inorganic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are made from natural and organic materials, mainly manure, compost, or other animal and plant products. These fertilizers are a great source of nutrients. Next is the nitrogen fertilizers. Nitrogen is a plant nutrient responsible for growth. This ingredient is useful in fertilizers, particularly during the middle stages of plant's lifespan, when it needs encouragement to continue to grow large stem and new leaves. Next is the phosphate fertilizers. Phosphorus is a nutrient that plants need continuously. Throughout their lifestyle or life cycle, phosphorus helps to strengthen the root system and stem of a plant. Flowering, seedling, and rooting can all be improved with phosphorus. Next is the potassium. Potassium will help your plants to grow deeper and stronger. It can also help protect your plants from harm when they are deprived from other nutrients. This nutrient is vital for photosynthesis and has the ability to slow down any diseases that may infect your garden. Another farm input is the machinery. Machinery is a mechanical structure that uses power to apply forces and control movement to perform an intended action. We cannot compare the use of hand spade to the use of a tractor, as both tools have their own importance and ensure greater productivity at farms. By using the right agricultural machinery, not only saves the time for a farmer, but also helps to increase the fertility and efficiency of a farm. Advantage of using the farm equipment is that they are capable of doing the maximum in minimum time, with reducing the cost of farming operations. Even at a minimum speed, these farm machines have the capability to work twice as fast as human worker. Next farm input is labor. Labor is the body of person engaged in such activity, especially those working for salary. Labor is one of the most important inputs in agriculture production. We cannot do the heavy work alone in our farm. So in order for us to make the work fast and easier, we should hire people to work for us, right, Del Pilarians? So here are the different types of labor in farming. Types of labor in farming. Number 1, labor requirements for land preparation. Number 2, labor requirement for planting. Number 3, labor requirements for plant care. And lastly, labor requirements for harvesting. Let's start with labor requirements for land preparation. The purpose of land preparation is to provide the necessary soil condition which will enhance the successful establishment of young offshoots or the tissue culture plants received from the nursery. Land preparation is important to ensure that the field is ready for planting. Next is the labor requirement for land preparation, like plowing using a tractor, cleaning of the land using hoe, plowing using animal, and harrowing using hand tractor. How will prepared field control weeds, recycle plant nutrients, and provides a soft soil mass for transplanting and a suitable soil surface for direct seedlings. It typically involves flowing to till or dig up mix and overturn the soil, harrowing to break the soil clads into smaller mass, and incorporate plant residue and leveling the field. Labor requirements for land preparation, like preparation of farrow, trellis preparation, especially for cucurbit crops, mulching, digging holes for orchard. Those are the labor requirements for land preparation. The preparation of farrow is sa paghahanda ng tudling na pagtataniman ng punla, while trellis preparation ay paghahanda ng balag na gagapangan ng mga halaman, especially yung mga gulay o yung mga prutas like tomato na gumagapang o humahaba yung kanya mga sanga. Mulching naman is to protect from heat, drought, etc. and to preserve moisture. Paglalagay ng mga tuyong dahon or mga maliliit na parte ng kahoy na nabubulok na sa ibabaw ng lupa sa palibot ng halaman. Digging naman or digging holes ay paghuhukay ng lupa para sa pagtataniman ng mga punla. Another labor requirements for planting, such as production of seedlings and transplanting. These are the activities carried out during planting. Seeds or other planting materials must be treated with chemicals to make them free from pests and disease organisms. Next is the labor requirements for plant care. Fertilizer, manure, dried leaves, sunlight, water, air seeds, and germination are some labor requirements needed for plant care. Next is the labor requirements for harvesting. Harvesting is the act of removing a crop from where it was growing and moving it to a more secure location for processing, consumption, or storage. After the harvest is finished, there is still much work for farmers. Once a grain crop is harvested, a farmer needs to manage its drying and storage. And this is the final stage of grain production. And those are the different types of labor in farming. Let's move on to the different types of harvesting. We have the reaping. Reaping is the cutting the mature or the mature panicles and the straw above the ground. Ito yung tinatawag na pag-apas o pag-ani. Threshing is separating the paddy grain from the rest of cut crop o yung pag-iik ng palay. While cleaning is removing immature, unfiled, non-grain materials o paglilinis, or ito yung stage na pipilian ang mga grains ng mga dumi or maliliit na bato, especially yung palay, na kasama sa ani katulad nga ng aking nasabi. Hauling is moving the cut crop to the threshing location. Ito yung activity kung saan tinatransport yung mga na-harvest na crops gamit ang mga sasakyan tulad ng mga truck. Alright, Delpilarians, para mapalawak pa natin ang ating kaalaman sa ating paksang tinalakay, halina't panuuri natin ang sama-sama ang panuuri na aking inihanda sa inyo.
How does rice grow? Rice is a grain. It looks like grass when it's fully grown. Most of the rice we eat in the UK comes from India, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Italy. People in these countries have grown rice for thousands of years, but actually, you can grow rice in most places as long as the plants aren't exposed to the cold. Rice grows in a paddy field. It's different to a field you might see in this country because it's usually flooded with water, which is just how the rice plants like it. The water protects the rice plants from extreme heat and cold and stops the weeds from growing by making the ground too waterlogged for them to take hold. Some rice fields are irrigated with water from nearby rivers. Others are rain-fed areas containing water that falls during the monsoon season. The rice plants start their growing cycle in a nursery paddy field. After 1 month, the seedling plants are put into small bunches and transplanted to a larger field to allow them to grow to their full size. The ground in the larger paddy field is prepared for the seedling rice plants by ploughing. They use oxen to pull the plough through the waterlogged field. The small bunches of rice seedlings are then planted in the main field by hand. The seedlings are given plenty of space in the ground because the rice plants will grow to be around 1 metre tall. It takes 3 months for the grains of rice to develop at the top of the plant stalks. When the grains turn yellow and hard, it's time for them to be harvested. In this field, the rice has to be harvested by hand. So during the harvest, the paddy field is drained to make it easier for the workers. The farmers harvest the rice by cutting the stalks with a sickle. Next, they separate the grain from the stalks by threshing it. This is usually done by hand. In some places, the rice is spread out, like this, and the heat of the sunshine dries it out. But often, the rice is stored in large silos, and using dryers, they heat up the air to dry out the rice. Once the rice is dry, the rice grain is separated from the outer husk using this machine. Now it's ready to be placed into these 1-ton bags and transported to rice mills in Europe.
Welcome back, Del Pilarians. I hope nagustuhan nyo ang video na aking inihanda. And now, let's move on. Siyempre, hindi mawawala ang inyong pagsusulit. Naihanda na ba ang inyong ballpen at papel? If handa na, let's start. For the direction, choose only the letter of the best answer. I-comment lamang ang inyong sagot sa chat box below ang letra ng inyong tamang sagot with your name, grade level, and section. Number 1. Which of the following is not a condition required for germination? Letter A, temperature. Letter B, water. Or letter C, sunlight. Let's check if your answer is correct, Del Pilarians. The correct answer is letter C, sunlight. While soil or soil depth, temperature, and water are all required for germination, sunlight is not required until after the seedling has emerged from the soil surface. Next number. Which of the following statement is true regarding water in division? Letter A. Water in division is not required for germination. Letter B. Water in division is required for the seed to rupture. Letter C. Water in division refers to the expulsion of water from the seed. And letter D, none of the above responses are true. Let's check your answer, Del Pilarians, if it's correct. Yes, the correct answer is letter B. Water in division is required for the seed to rupture. Water imbibition refers to the influx of water into the seed required for the seed to rupture and release the root and shoot. Next number. The fundamental process by which different plant species grow from a single seed into a plant. Letter A, germination. Letter B, fertilization. Or letter C, cultivation. Let's check your answer if it's correct. The correct answer is letter A, germination. In simple terms, it is the process of a seed developing into a plant. Kapag meron na siyang 2 hanggang 4 na leaves, it's now ready for replanting. Shout out to our department head, Virginia de Guzman, to our assistant department head, Froilan Pangilinan, to all the master teachers in TLE, and also to all the teachers in TLE department and all teachers in Del Pilar School, Marcelo H. Del Pilar School. Alright, so shout out din sa aking mga mahal na grade 7 student, section 7.4, 7A, 719, 722, at sa 725. Okay. So let's move on to number 4. It is a mechanical structure that uses power, apply forces, and control movement to perform an intended action. Letter A, mechatronics. Letter B, machinery. Or letter C, electronics. B is the correct answer, machinery. With the help of farm equipments, farmers can improve the productivity and efficiency at their farm. Tama ba, Del Pilarians? Alright, so last number 5. Enumerate the 4 types of labor in farming. Alright, Del Pilarians, while we are waiting for your answer, shout out to all plantito and plantita. And special thanks to the Teleradio staff and organizer. And to our cute grade 7 chairman, Mrs. Myla Lomotan. You're such a big help. Thanks to you. Ingat po tayo palagi. And again, to all Del Pilarians. Huwag po tayo magsasawang manood at makinig dahil ito po ay para sa inyo, para sa inyong pagkatuto. You are my inspiration. Mahal ko kayo. Special mention ulit ang aking 725. Okay, so maging matyaga sa pagsagot ng inyong mga module at parating makinig ng Teleradyo Marcelo. Don't forget to hit the like and share buttons dito sa ating Teleradyo, sa ating Facebook page at YouTube channel. Ang Teleradyo ng buo Malolenyo. Siyempre, ang Teleradyo Marcelo. Alright, so, did you get a perfect score, Del Pilarians? If yes, well, kudos everyone. You are great. Amazing. Okay, syempre, hindi mawawala ang inyong homework. Make your own organic fertilizer from scratch to materials. Of course, ako ang unang mag-example kung paano gumawa ng isang organic fertilizer. It seems to me kasi that you've learned a lot from this lesson. By that, I want you to watch another video regarding on how to make your own organic fertilizer. I want you to make your own compost from scratch materials in your house by simply following the step as shown in this video tutorial that will serve as your output for this quarter. Don't forget to take pictures or video while doing it. Enjoy watching! Hello Del Pilarian, sa video nito, ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano gumawa ng isang compost fertilizer mula sa mga materials na pabulok na o yung itatapon na lamang natin. Ang 4 na ingredients sa paggawa nito ay yung mga tinatawag natin na browns. Ito yung mga galing sa mga natutuyong mga dahon. Ang gagamitin ko, dahil ito yung available sa likod bahay, ay dahon ng mga akasya na kasama siyang maliliit na mga sanga. So, mayaman yan sa enzyme at sa mga vitamina o nutrients na kailangan ng ating halaman. At susunod naman na ingredients ay yung mga greens. Yan. Yan naman ay galing sa dahon ng ipil-ipil kasi may pinulak na
puno sa likod. So, sayang naman. So, naisip ko, isama na rin siya. Kasi ang ipil-ipil, masustansya, kinakain din niya ng mga hayop. So, kung ano naman yung pangangailangan ng hayop, yun din naman ang pangangailangan ng halaman, no? So, next po, ito po naman ay sweet potato na madahon na bali, ginupit ko na po siya para mas madali na po nating maisama dito sa ating mixture. So, sumusobra po kasi doon, sobrang lego. So, nagbawas lang po ako. So, kaysa naman mabulok nang wala siyang pakinabang, so isasama ko na rin siya. Susunod naman po ito po ay eggshell. So, kinrush ko na po siya sa maliliit. So, madali naman na rin po siyang mabubulok. So, mayaman naman po siya sa calcium. So, kailangan din po yun ng halaman. So, isasama ko na rin po yung pinagbalatan ng saging ng saba. Ayan, gugupitin po natin ng maliliit. At saka po itong mga pinagbalatan ng gulay at prutas na galing po sa kusina. So, kayo naman po pwedeng gumawa ng sarili nyo ninyong compost. Lahat po ng sa tingin ninyo pwedeng ilagay. Pinagbalatan ng gulay, pinagbalatan ng prutas, pwede po natin isama. Wag lamang po yung karne kasi po inuuod po kasi yun, tsaka mabaho. So, ang gagawin po natin compost, yung wala pong amoy. So, magsimula na po tayo. So, ang nais ko pong una pong ilagay, since gusto nga po nating bulukin, ay ito pong brown. So, ito pong dahon ng acacia. So, yun po yung first layer natin. Layering lang naman po yung gagawin natin eh. So, hindi po ako gagamit ng garden soil kasi gusto ko po pure na mga ganito yung aking i-compose po natin. So, alisin po natin yung mga napapasama na sa tingin natin hindi naman po mabubulok. So, yun po yung first layer natin. Lalagay ko na rin po ito. Since konti lang naman, pinagbalatan ng gulay sa kaprutas itong araw na to. Yan, hahalo nyo lang pong ganyan. Then, susunod ko naman po itong yan. Dahon ng kamoting baging. Yan. Dapat po, ano siya, talagang mix po siya. Anyway, pwede nyo naman yang i-mix sa isang malaking batya o malaking planggana. But in this case, layering po yung aking ginawa. So, susunod ko naman pong ilagay ay dahon ng ipil-ipil. Yan. Inawasan ko po siyang lagyan ng mga bagay na nangangamoy para ang objective nga po natin ay makapagawa ng isang compost na walang amoy. So, lahat po yan ay siguradong hindi po aamoy. So, ito po yung balat para mas madali po siyang mabulok. Gupitin lang po natin. So, for the purpose po ng video, pinapakita ko lang po kung paano po siya gupitin. So, ganyan lang. Parang mahirap ang gupitin. So, isa-isahin na lang po natin. Okay, yan sa palagay mo. Bakit ba mas mainam yung paggawa ng isang compost fertilizer kaysa yung mga artificial fertilizer yung gagamitin natin sa halaman?
Organic po dito.
Oo, organic. Bakit mas mainam?
Kasi wala pong chemicals.
Walang chemicals, no? Lalo yung mga gulay o prutas na direkta natin kinakain, gaya ng pechay, di ba? Can you imagine, i-sprayan niya ng mga chemicals tapos direkta natin kakainin. So, na-imagine mo ba na makakain mo din yung chemicals? So,
Yes,
kung itong fertilizer yung gagamitin natin, so, hindi tayo nanganganib yung ating kalusugan. At the same time, nare-recycle natin yung mga bagay, no? Kasi alam mo sa gardening, lalo sa Amerika, hindi nila pinopromote yung paghuhukay ng lupa para tamnan ng halaman. Actually, gumagawa sila ng mga garden bed, tapos eto, nilalagyan nila ng organic. So, maiwasan natin yung soil erosion kasi hindi mahuhukay ang lupa, di ba? Tama?
Opo.
Tama ba? So, yan. Interesting ba yung ginagawa ko, Ian?
Opo.
Very good. I hope Delphilarians may natututunan kayo sa ginagawa ko. Huwag kayo mag-alala, di naman ito madumi. No? So, ayan lang. First, uulitin nyo lang yung process. So, ilagay na rin natin yung yung eggshell. Okay. So, ano lang naman to araw-araw lahat ng mga balat-balat sa kusina ninyo, pwede naman yung i-add lang ng i-add. Wala nang masama dun Pagka maganda ang inyong pagko-compost, minsan madali lang madali lang maging compost yan. Within a month, makikita mo na yung result. Pwede mo na siyang ihalo sa halaman as fertilizer. Pero yung iba umaabot from 2 to 3 months. Depende. So, in this case, mukhang maganda naman. Sa tingin ko, mabubulok naman siya agad. So, yan. Make sure maliliit lang talaga para tutulungan mo siyang mabulok. So, naka-isang layer na tayo. So, sunod naman, sa browns naman tayo. Hindi naman ito madumi, kaya kinakamay ko na. Make sure di mo masasama yung mga plastic kagaya nito. Aalisin mo na kasi hindi naman siya mabubulok. Okay, so sunod na uli natin ang yan. Sweet potato na mga dahon. Then ipil-ipil. Yan. Yan ang marami ko ipil-ipil So, yan ang kinakapalan ko. Tapos lagyan ulit natin nito. Actually, medyo smelly to kasi 2 araw ko na tong binalot. So, yan. Mga balat naman ng gulay. Medyo na-decompose na siya. So, hindi ko na siya kailangan gupitin pa. So, medyo smelly na, no? Ulit natin yung process. Lagyan natin ng brown. Lagyan ulit natin ng banana peel. Alam mo, iyan patyagaan lang talaga to So, pag wala kang tiyaga, sabi nga nila pag wala kang tiyaga, yan. Pag wala kang tiyaga, walang nilaga. Diba? So, sa panahon ngayon, lalo pandemya, Delphilarian, gumawa kayo ng mga kapaki-pakinabang na bagay na kung saan hindi na kayo gagastos, pero makakatulong pa kayo sa kalikasan, Yan. Kung mahilig ang tita nyo, ang lola nyo, o ang mami nyo sa paghahalaman, matutuwa sila pagka nakagawa kayo ng isang compost fertilizer na katulad ng ginagawa ko ngayon. Todo na natin. Lagay na natin lahat. Nga pala, Delphilarians, kung nagustuhan nyo ang video na ito, huwag nyo kalimutang mag-like, mag-subscribe sa ating Facebook channel, saka sa YouTube. Ng Teleradyo, syempre. Yan. natin to. So, ubusin na natin. Okay. Alright, so okay, so na-mix na natin, na-layer na natin siya. So, susunod naman, ay kailangan kasi ano siya, may moisture siya. Ay, sorry. Kaya, lalagyan natin ng tubig. So, parang mas mabilis yung kanyang pagkabulok. Yan. Hindi masyadong marami, pero hindi rin naman konti. So, enough lang. Okay, then pagkatapos, sealed nyo lang siya. Okay, para mag-init siya sa loob. So, in that way, mabibilis ang kanyang pagkabulok. So, pwede nyo siyang buksan after a month para i-check ninyo kung nabulok na sila lahat. Kung hindi naman, hanggang 2 buwan ay pwede na. Okay, so yun lang, Del Pilarian. At sana may natutunan po kayo sa video na to. Hanggang sa muli, ito po ang inyong teacher plantita, Miss Mona Lisa E. Paredes ng Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. Nagsasabing, mag-ingat po kayo parate at parating magugas ng kamay pagkatapos gumawa ng anumang bagay na sa tingin ninyo nakakuha kayo ng mga mikrobyo tulad ng aking ginawa. Bye-bye!
Nagustuhan nyo ba ang maikling video? Siguro makakagawa na kayo ng sarili nyong organic fertilizer. Tama ba, Del Pilarians? Patsagaan lang. Wala nang selan. Di naman yun madumi. Ang masama ay magutom tayo dahil wala tayong kakainin dahil ayaw nating dumumi ang ating mga kamay. Alam niyo sa farming, kung nais mong magtagumpay o kung nais mong makapagpatubo ng kahit isang maliit na seeds, kailangan talaga dumumi ang iyong kamay. So kasama yun no? Alright, so that's all for now, Del Pilarians, and see you again next time only here at Teleradyo Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat malulenyo. If you really like this lesson, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Ang inyong teacher plantita ay magpapaalam na I hope you've learned a lot from me today. By that, let me leave you with saying, those too lazy to flow, in the right season, will have no food at the harvest. Goodbye!
Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Makinig, manood, nasa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.